All right, the Koenigsegg Gemera here. Great looking car. Ford. It's not Ford. It's got 4 seats. It's pretty cool. I didn't even know this thing existed until this game. I'm out of the hypercar loop, but look, this thing has 1,800 horsepower, 4,000 pounds. I've done my best. I would say it's middle of the pack for hypercars. It just doesn't have the cornering capabilities that some of the better ones do. It just it struggles a bit. It suffers from what the Regera suffer with, that it just has one gear, that one drive, and it's so torquey coming out of corners. It's always going to drift. I did my best to correct it. It's way better than stock, but this thing it won't really get away from you, but it'll cut loose real easily. All right, so keep that in mind. Using NOS really gets this thing up to speed very quickly. If you have like a lot of straights, this thing shines. It is very quick on the acceleration. It bogs off the line, even with I think traction control comfort was the best launch you're gonna see on this thing. It just wow, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter if your traction control off, it doesn't spin enough. It's just it suffers from that. And I mean, it's not bad. It understeers a little bit, just a little bit. I've tried to correct it. I've got it. Sometimes I find like it gets a little bit better, but then the rear gets worse, and then the rear gets better, but then it's too. I feel like I got it in a good spot. If you learn how to drive it, you can do pretty well. It'll hold its own. Definitely, I kept my spot. I think I got 3rd place in a grand race using this. Like I went from like 4th to 3rd or something. But overall, it's a cool car. Not the worst. You can win with it. But let's get into pro settings, throw out the grand race, and we'll get you boys out of here, all right? So, power distribution, 50-50 split, okay? See the acceleration, 1.8 stock, still 1.8. This car doesn't change. It just, like I said, it bogs no matter what you do. Brake balance, go to 50% because it improves the braking, and trust me, you're going to need it with this boat. Aero load front, -8, all right? Suspension, I've had this up to 10% in the front. I've had it soft. I feel like, you know what? I'm gonna put that back to a 6. All right. Leave that 6 stiff for the spring front. Rear -4 soft. Damper compression front is 20% stiff. Damper compression rear is -4 soft. Damper rebound front is a 20 stiff. And the rear is -8 soft. Roll bars, 10% stiff up front with a -4 soft in the rear. Camber up front is -25 and -18 in the rear. If you want to mess with this, by all means, but it's very finicky. All right, keep that in mind. If anything, I would only really maybe roll bar and spring front. It's just to try to get the turn a little more. It's just, I don't know. I mess with this car way too much, and it is what it is. But look, it's not the worst, not the best, right in the middle of the pack. It's cool. You don't see them anyway, boys. You know the drill. Subscribe, come back, check out the grand race. All right, the Koenigsegg Gemera. This thing understeers a lot, and it just doesn't. I've messed with it so much. I don't even know if this car can be capable of like being like top tier. It's just not all there, man. But we're gonna try it out. This kid's got real wild, but we got back to 2nd place after like getting 20th, I think it was. All right, the Gemera. It's time to see what this thing can do. It's just 1 gear, and it's wild. We fixed a lot of the oversteer issues with it, but it's a very understeery car, and you're still gonna slide out low speed. It's just how it is, because all that torque is just there at all times. I wanted this thing to be really good, but I just don't think it's quite there. But it handles a little better than I remember, but it still feels like a boat. Nice, dude. Got a Revuelto. Can't drive it. I mean, it's not horrible. Really, dude? That's how you want to play? Alright, huh? Just drifted a bit, you'd be alright. Make sure you let off of like full steering input when you turn in with this thing and you're coming out of the corner. I was trying to hit the gutter because I know that this thing was not gonna hook. Yeah, it's just not the best handling car, and those low speed corners, you're gonna get the tail out. Same thing with the Regera, had the same issue just because it's that one long gear and it's just torquey. But it feels like it gets up to speed pretty quickly though. It's not the worst. But I would put it right in the middle of the class. It definitely handles better at high speeds. And I feel like the more I drove this, the more I could probably really get into it, but it can be competitive. It definitely can be competitive. I don't know, I might try to tweak it a little more. Well, did my best. I don't know. I think I might leave the Gemera. I might do a couple more tests, but honestly, that car was a pain to tune, and I don't think it's gonna get any better. It's just the same with the Regera. It's got that one gear. It's real torquey at the bottom. No matter what you do, you're gonna give out low speed, and then it's got some decent understeer. And I'll try a couple things with the front, but that's the best I can get it. So I mean, it's a cool car. But,